To address the issues facing Tennesseans today, from 10 News, this is Inside Tennessee.
Good morning and thank you for watching Inside Tennessee along with my colleague John North. I'm John Becker, our moderators today, and we want to show you the council race we're focused on this Sunday morning. It is District 4. This is a map of the city and you can see where that is in northeast Knoxville. That's the area that it covers, and the folks who live there will vote on 3 candidates. 2 of them join us this morning, Jim Klonaris and the incumbent Lauren Ryder. Good to have both of you with us. One candidate could not join us because Jen had a conflict. She has a sick child. We wish her the very best, and you will see her on the ballot as well. But let's start with both of you. Again, welcome, and I want to start with the first issue that makes up the largest part of the budget, and that is public safety. Let's talk about where you think our police department is right now as far as leadership and staffing, Councilwoman Ryder, and where it needs to go from here.
Yeah, so we have a lot of morale issues with our police right now, as well as staffing. We have a lot of police that are working overtime shifts because recruiting has really fallen. It's probably not the most popular job and career choice, but it's certainly a necessary thing. There's a lot of people that want to feel safe in their neighborhoods and their community. We have crime, we have drug issues, and we need our police for that. We went 2 years without an academy under a previous administration, a previous chief, and that was the chief's decision. And so that put us behind. And so we're constantly trying to catch up. And so the changes that we've made is to have under the current chief is to have continual academies versus 1 or 2 a year. And we've also funded recruitment, marketing, and recruitment efforts. And we've seen some success recruiting from other cities and other places outside of even the state of Tennessee. So those are some things that are concerns and issues. There's also some successes with the police right now that we've been doing. So we have right response, which is to not send our police to tackle mental health care issues, which when Lakeshore closed, that fell to them. They're the only ones to call out to respond to these things. So we've added a co-responder team. We started with a pilot project last year, and in this year's budget, we have added enough to be able to cover 365 24/7s. And that basically sends a clinical social worker out to deal with mental health crisis with a backup of a KPD officer. And that's a right response. Those are mental health care crises. And most of them, 80% of them, end up at the hospital to deal with that acute issue. And then the social worker follows up on it.
Jim, do you agree with Councilwoman Ryder's assessment of the department? And is there something you'd like to see different or you would bring differently to council?
I do see her assessment as fairly good. However, I disagree with a couple of things. We have struggled retaining cadets when they go through the academy. My understanding from the FOP is that the last 5 cadets at the tune of $50,000 a cadet has come through the academy and chosen not to stay on as a policeman or woman in our city. We've also, in February of this year, we were actually down 62 sworn officers. And this was happening, unfortunately, at a time when we were experiencing record amounts of crime, record amounts of murder, more deadly shootings per capita than Chicago. And we've had this rising high crime rate going up over the last 4 years. And I just feel like a little bit day late, dollar short. I think we need to fix this problem. Ultimately, in the end, I think it's a cultural issue, and what I mean by that, I think we have a leadership problem that is creating a cultural issue in our city, and this needs to be fixed because we all know that safety is the number one priority. If we can't feel safe in our communities, we have nothing. Absolutely.
Just a quick follow-up on that. Are you saying you'd like to see the current chief replaced?
I'm not saying that I'd like to see the current chief replaced, but I will tell you there's a lot of animosity right now towards the chief. But I think, honestly, it's really a reflection on higher levels of leadership in our community right now. And I think she's taking the hit for that. But I think we need to have a specific action plan to make Knoxville a safer community. It was a safe community when I was growing up. We can get to a safe community once again, but I think it really does rest and fall on the shoulders of the leadership, not only of the police chief, but also of our city council and our mayor.
Jim and Lauren, let's shift to another topic that both of you have spoken out about, and that's the question of the homeless and how do we help them and also sort of help everybody else. You know, in the 4th District that we do see the presence of the homeless often going up and down Broadway and other streets. But here's my question. We can all talk about the topic, but could you please tell me some specifics of how you would address it, how you would fix it? Some specifics. And Jim, let's start with you.
Okay, I don't know how much time you're going to give me, but I do have some ideas around the homeless situation. 12 years ago, I moved into the city from West Knoxville, and the reason my wife and I moved downtown was because we were putting businesses in, but we also became aware, if you will, of the homeless situation, the people on the streets, and we literally kind of felt like we wanted to be part of the humanity of the downtown. And during this last 13 years, we've seen the homeless problem get worse, a lot worse. And as we work inside of our communities and work with homeless people and people that are hungry, there are several things that we could do to make a huge impact. First of all, and this may sound a little bit rough sometimes, but there's 2 types of homeless people, and they all share on both sides of the coin the same issues. There's a lot of addiction, whether it's drug addiction or alcohol addiction. They're all suffering from the loss of some structure around their family that's caused them to be here. There's mental illness in the majority of cases. There's some form of mental illness, and Lauren talked about that a few minutes ago regarding the police department. They're not equipped to handle that. But we also have over 2,000 nonprofits in Knoxville. And it seems to me like we as a community need to come together as a government, private sector, nonprofits, and we need to bring everyone together, put our arms around these people, and for the people that want help, that are willing to raise their hand and say, I want to be off the streets, we can put a program together to get these people off the streets. Now, conversely, the other side of the coin represents a large number of homeless people that don't want help. They don't want to raise their hand. I honestly feel like we should put policies in place to not allow these homeless people to live under our bridges, to live in our business openings, to defecate, to urinate on the streets, to leave their needles, and to move on. We don't need this type of individual in our city. We need to focus on the people that need help and help them.
Councilwoman Ryder, we're going to pick up on your answer to John's question, but we've got to take a quick break. We'll be back with more of our conversation on Inside Tennessee right after this.